In this video, we're going to be looking at how to use the calendar-based scheduling tool within TeamPoint. There are lots of different ways of scheduling within TeamPoint. The calendar-based scheduler is probably best used for forward planning. Maybe you're trying to work out your schedule for the next week or the next month or the next 6 weeks, whatever it may be. The calendar-based scheduling tool is probably best served for that kind of scheduling. If you are doing reactive scheduling where you've just got a single job that you need to fit in urgently, you might use one of our reactive scheduling tools. You may choose to schedule via the map. So there are lots of different ways of going about scheduling. The calendar is just one of the tools within TeamPoint that helps you to do that. And we're going to have a look at how that works just now. So to find the calendar scheduling tool, we go to our main menu on the left-hand side. We go to Operations, and Scheduling. Clicking here, we're presented with some options of what we want to see on our schedule. So the first section are the dates that we want to see. So it's asking us, do we want to see 1 day or 3 days or a week or a month? There's so we can configure the time scale that we want to look at. So in here, we're just going to look at next week. So we're going to look from Sunday through to the following Sunday. So that's going to give us 8 days on the schedule. So that's the scheduled date section. The next section is jobs. So this is allowing us to decide which unplanned jobs that we want to see. So the whole point of the schedule is we're taking unplanned work and we're planning it. We're allocating it to our technicians. So we need to decide which unplanned jobs we want to see, because if we have hundreds or possibly even thousands of unplanned jobs, we'd probably only want to see a small subsection of those. So it might be that we want to see a specific job type. It might be that we want to see jobs which are only due within a certain range within between from and to dates. It might be that we want to look at jobs only in a particular geographic area, so by postcode. So really want to, unless we only have a very small number of unscheduled jobs, we probably want to see a subset of the jobs so that we can plan those more easily. In the same way with our operatives, if we've got 3 or 4 or 5 operatives, fine, we can look at them all on one schedule. But if we've got 100 operatives or 150 operatives, we probably want to break those down into teams or into skill sets so that we can plan them in smaller groups, which are a little bit easier to manage. So to begin with, we'll select our jobs. So we're going to say we want jobs, all of the jobs which are due up to the 28th, because this matches our end date here. So anything which is due after the 28th, we're not going to worry about for the time being. And then we're going to choose a job type. So we can either choose the subtype here, which would be reactive, recall, quoted works. But we're going to go for the main job type here. These are all configurable within TeamPoint, so you can have whatever you want in here. But we're going to pick planned maintenance for our job types. So it's only going to bring me planned maintenance work. It's not going to give me reactive maintenance. It's not going to give me subcontractor work. It's not going to give me general small works. It's just going to give me this subset of my jobs. In the same way, I'm going to choose my maintenance team. So I think in this demo system, we might have 80 technicians. They're broken down into teams. We've got a drainage team, a maintenance team, a projects team, and a reactive team. So I'm only looking at planning the maintenance team for now. Now, if we wanted to go further on this, we can choose tags also, and we can choose skill sets. So it might be, I only want to know about operatives with the drainage and skill, for instance. But we're not going to do that for now. We're just going to look at the maintenance team, and we're going to look at planned maintenance jobs. So now we've got everything configured. We'll load our schedule. So I'm going to click here. And this brings our schedule up in a new window. So the window's broken into two main sections. We've got the top section here with unplanned work. And if I just scroll that down, we can see we've loaded quite a lot of jobs into here. This top section is also broken into two. So we've got a left-hand side and a right-hand side. The left-hand side has jobs. The right-hand side has site surveys. Now, we don't have any site surveys in this example, so that section is empty. So this is all of our unplanned work, and the idea is that we want to plan it all. The lower section shows us our operatives. So each operative has their own row. This is Christopher. We can see the skills and training that operative has, and as we scroll up, we go through all of the operatives in our team. I think we've got 5, possibly 6 guys in this team. We can see the jobs that they've been allocated already. So David, for instance, has got a pretty full week stacked up this week already. So we're probably not going to be doing much scheduling for him. And then we can also see holidays. So Christopher, for instance, is on holiday Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. So holidays are all set up in the background, and they get pulled through into the schedule so that we can see who's available and who's not. So each one of these is collapsible to make things a little bit easier to see what's happening. So we can close all of our operatives down like this. And this just now gives us quite a top level view. So if we were to look at Christopher, we can see he's got no work allocated at all on any of these days. If we look at David, he's got 9 hours here, 8 hours here, 8 hours here, 6 hours here. So he's got a pretty full week. Anything that goes over 8 hours comes up in red as well to show that we might have given him a little bit too much work. So let's have a look at Christopher. He doesn't have any work on Monday or Tuesday or Sunday for that matter, but we're not sure whether we want to give him work on Sunday. So let's find some jobs. So the easiest way to give him a job is to literally drag it from the top onto his schedule. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So we've given him 3 jobs now on Tuesday, and we can see that comes to 45 minutes of work. We can also use this button here to calculate the travel times for me. So although we've given him 45 minutes of work, we've actually, there's actually 8.5 hours driving in between those jobs. So they're probably not very good jobs to give him really. And this has gone red because he's got too much on really for one day. So obviously we wouldn't have chosen these jobs. He's got to drive 3.5 hours from home to get to that one. And then he's got another 4-hour drive to get to the next one. So we wouldn't have chosen those particular jobs. Obviously there are a lot of jobs at the top here, which sometimes can be quite difficult to manage. So what we probably want to break these down. So we might want to break them down by customer. We might want to break them down by postcode. So there's lots of different ways we can do that. So if we go to our filters, if I type WV in here, for instance, then what that's giving me is all of the jobs with a WV postcode. So this is probably going to make more sense. So if we allocate these jobs to Monday for him, for instance, let me just bring them all through here. The reason these jobs have gone red is because they match the filter. So when we filter jobs, it hides the ones at the top, and any that are on the schedule already, they show up in red. So when I clear the filter in a second, you'll see that they don't go red. Okay, so now I've scheduled Wolverhampton. Let me go and remove my filter. These jobs have all come back. These are no longer red. Okay, so we've still got 9 hours of work because we've got quite a lot of jobs here. This one's a 4-hour job, for instance. This one's a 4-hour job. So we might have given him too much. If we work out the travel, however, we'd probably, okay, we've got half an hour's travel now, which is much better. So this is starting to look a little bit more like a sensible day. So basically what we've done is we've looked at our unscheduled jobs in the top here. We've looked at our operatives. We found jobs that make sense to be done together, and we just drag them onto the operative, and that allocates the job to the operative. This is a planning tool, so to begin with, the jobs will go through as scheduled, that's the status of the job is scheduled rather than dispatched. So what we can do is the difference between scheduled and dispatched. Scheduled means we've planned it for a person, a date and a time. Whereas dispatch means we actually issue that out to our field workers PDA. So they would receive those jobs. Now, when we're planning, we probably don't want to issue them straight away because we might want to move them. I might look at this and go, okay, well, he's got almost 10 hours worth of work there. So you know what? I'm going to move this one and I'm just going to drag it over here instead. So what we wouldn't want to do is to issue that job to him on the Monday, for instance, then decide that we want to replan it for the Wednesday or the Tuesday, and then have that keep sending him notifications and job allocations. So the jobs initially, when you drag them onto the schedule, are scheduled, and we click the little tick. So once we're happy that everything's perfect and we've done an initial sweep and we've dragged all the jobs across, and then maybe we've moved things around a little bit, then we can click the tick up here, and this dispatches that job out to our field worker. We can also do the ticks up here, which will dispatch all jobs on the schedule to our field workers. So that signs off the whole schedule. So we've scheduled some work for Christopher. Sorry, I clicked on Christopher's name then, which takes you over here to a calendar view for Christopher, and we can see everything that's booked in for him on a month-by-month basis. So we don't have anything for August there. We've got some historical things as well. But let's come back to the schedule. So what I meant to do was to collapse him rather than click on his name. Okay, so we've now scheduled Monday and Tuesday for Christopher. We know he's on holiday Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so we could give some more to Duncan, for instance. Let's open that one up. So again, we might want to look for a specific customer, for instance. So if I type Mitchell in my filter, I can see I've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 jobs for Mitchell. So let's schedule those ones in because maybe Mitchell's an important customer for me. Let's drop those in. These are all in BN7. They might even all be at the same site. So we'll put all those on one day. Let's stick that one down there. And we'll put all of these in. That one is in Sheffield. Okay, and I'll just clear my filter. There we go. And so now we've scheduled a postcode, and we've also scheduled a customer. And so we're starting to build up all of the work that we want our technicians to do. So we would repeat this process until all of our jobs have been allocated one way or another. So that's how to use the calendar-based schedule within TeamPoint. Initially, we choose what we want to see. So we want to see our dates for our schedule. We want to choose which jobs we need to plan, and we want to choose which operatives we want to plan. We then get into the schedule. We drag our unplanned jobs onto our technicians. And we keep going until we've planned all of our jobs. We can filter our jobs. We can filter our technicians. We can view our technicians' diaries from here as well. We can look at postcodes. We can look at customer names. So there's lots of different ways of managing the work.